Hello everyone, myself Vaibhav. I welcome all of you to today's session of Market Movers, in which we will take a look on the Euro USD's uptrend, which is intact after starting close to 1.12 levels. Due consolidation had taken place, and now we have rallied a lot. And as we had discussed in yesterday's session, the 1.2 level is not far away, and I think it is likely to continue on this uptrend and move past even 1.2 level in coming weeks. So let's get started. If you consider the trading context for the day, earlier in the day during the European trading sessions, we got the Bank of England's monetary policy announcement, and here, as expected, the interest rates have been left unchanged at 0.1%, whereas the quantitative easing program will continue to run with a targeted bond buying of GBP 745 billions. Though there has been uptick in the economic data coming in from the United Kingdom, still the central bank is adopting a cautious approach. They are of course keeping an eye on the data, and they have noted that the economic data has been on the upside, but still the economy is not out of the trenches, and the monetary policy support is needed to be continued. So Bank of England is adopting a prudent approach here. Just a while back, we got the initial jobless claims for the week ended 1st of August, and compared to the expectation of the jobless claims rise of around 1.4 million, we have a figure of 1.19 million. That also indicates that US economy is doing better than the expectation, and I think it might help in the stopping the losses, the slide which we are seeing in the USD against its major currency peer. So let's see how the things unfold during the US trading hours. Now let's move on to the technical outlook. Here in today's session we will consider the Euro USD's technical outlook, and then we will move on to the DAX. It's been a long time since we last considered the DAX, and now it's turn again. Let's start with the Euro USD's technical outlook first. This is the daily time frame chart, and here the Euro USD initially fell to the low of 1.065, and it reversed those losses, and then went into a sideways consolidation phase in the April and May, and then after due consolidation closer to 1.08, it picked up the momentum as the US economy went into a tailspin, and that is being also reflected in the USD performance against its major currency peer. So on that front, the euro has been helped by the USD's weakness, and here even after the rallying substantially over the past couple of months, I think this upward trajectory is likely to continue at least for next week or two. So even after touching this 100% expansion phase, the Euro USD is still moving strong, and even in today's session, it had jumped above 1.19 level in the aftermath of Bank of England's monetary policy announcement. From those levels, it has reversed somewhat, and now it is consolidating close to 1.185. And in a US session, if things hold well above 1.18, then I think we can again try to get involved for the long trades, for the buy trades in Euro USD, with the possibility of Euro again moving past 1.19 level. So if that is going to happen, I think we will have to figure out what can be the entry points for us to look for the buying opportunities in the Euro USD. If you consider this regression curve as well as the pivot point series drawn on the monthly time frame of this month, both of these indicators are pointing to the bullish sentiments, and the support in terms of the central pivot point lies far away from the current levels, almost 200 pips on the downside. So that's not in the play right now. We will mostly have to rely on these you can say the traditional aspect, that anything above this central pivot point is to be considered as a as in bullish territory. So from that view, I think we can continue to expect that Euro USD might try to go on toward this resistance, the first resistance of this month, which stands above 1.2, and that is also almost 200 pips away. So we here have wide bandwidth for the Euro USD momentum, and that's because in last month we saw this volatile movements, and that has enlarged its price bands for this month. And now if we consider this regression curve, this is also continuing to trade on the upside, and I think on the lower side this band is there around 1.182 and is likely to act as a near term support for the Euro USD. So here, even if we consider the price action data, we have these prior swing highs around 1.180, and I am expecting those levels to act as a near-term support. So unless and until there is a crucial break below these levels, the momentum, the view is going to be with the bullish trades, and here any entry point in the vicinity of this 50 SMA should be a good point to get involved on the long side for a buy trade, and the stop losses can be kept anywhere close to this 1.76 to 1.177 level, just below this 200 SMA. So the one thing we will have to look for is that if there is a break below this 200 SMA, that will be a signal for us to get out of the trades, and that's for that reason we will consider this 200 SMA to be crucial, and it can be utilized as a marker whether to stay involved with a long trade or not. So unless and until there is a break, I think that we can continue to hold on to our long positions in the Euro USD, and even the new positions can be added. So in the price band of these confluence of this 50 and 100 SMA, which is there around 1.180. So we can look for fresh entries here, and this is a wide price band, but then you will have to see the consolidation. If we see that Euro USD is finding good support closer to this 50 SMA, then we will have to take the entry there. Of course, the stop loss will be bit on the wider side, but that can be compensated by keeping the lot size low, and also on the higher side we can keep the target price wide. Suppose if we are taking a risk of around 60-70 pips, then on the upper side we can take the target price of almost 150 pips. So roughly speaking, you will get the risk reward ratio of 1:2. Now moving on to the DAX, the Germany's equity index. Here is the DAX daily time frame chart, and after touching lows closer to 8,000, it has also rallied substantially, almost more than 50%. And now in this month, we saw it making a low closer to the 12,200 zone, and from there on, it reversed pretty sharply. And even if we consider this consolidation which we saw in the month of June, we had seen that DAX indeed found support closer to 12,000 zone, and from there on again it continued to rally higher, eventually going on to cross 13,000. And here the things of course entered into a correction phase, but from the longer term perspective, I think the trajectory is still intact, and we can continue to hope that we will see again a fresh swing high being established above these recent swing high, which is there around 13,300. So looking at that possibility, we can indeed continue to bet on the long side for the DAX, but of course we will have to be watchful here, bit cautious, and for that we can rely on the 4-hourly chart, in which we have this central pivot point at the levels around 12,500. And as you can see in today's session, we had a break below that, but the reversal was pretty sharp, and now the DAX has come back after making a low closer to 12,500 zone. So in today's session, we are seeing that on the lower side, the DAX is finding good buying support, good momentum, and from that perspective, I think we can indeed take a look for fresh trades here, and anything closer to these central pivot point can be a good opportunity to go long in the DAX to get involved on the buy side. So any buy entry closer to 12,580 would be a good idea. Of course, we can't be precise here. We will have to watch for the price action and do consolidation. And any price move closer to this should be a welcome opportunity. And one thing is that regression curve is uh, has bent on the downside, and it has bent sharply because we saw this sharp and swift reversal when the DAX dived from almost 13,300 to 12,300. Of course, from those levels it has rebounded somewhat, and we have to now see how the price action will evolve here. So unless and until there is a break, we can continue to hope, and if there is a break, then of course we will have to let it go and simply sit on the sideline. But as the things stand, we are indeed seeing some buying momentum on the lower side. So from that perspective, the price zone above 12,500 can be a good opportunity to go long. And as you can see, we had these prior swing highs around this zone, the 12,500, and then recently during the start of this week we saw again consolidation and then buying support closer to this level. So 12,500 can be considered as a crucial marker unless and until there is a break below this today's low, that is 12,500. We can indeed continue to look for the buying opportunity, and it will be better if we can get a buy entry closer to this price zone of 12,560, which is the 100 SMA zone. So watch out for the price action in the US trading session. If you can get any opportunity, then that should be an welcome development. And on the upper side, we can pretty much consider the move towards 13,000 in coming days. And even if that doesn't happen, I think for a buy entry anywhere close to 12,600 with even a possible stop loss of 12,400, any move of 400 points, that is around 13,000, should be a good risk reward ratio trade, and for a risk reward of 1:2 that can be considered. So watch out for the price action, and if you can get any entry here, then I would suggest that you go for it. Of course, the stop loss will need to be kept around 12,400, and as I said, to compensate for the risk we are taking, we will have to target almost 13,000 on the higher side. So that's it from my side for today's trading session. If any of you have any query or any idea to share, you can write it in the comment section, and I would be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Before I sign off, I would also like to remind of the risk associated with trading in the financial instrument, and one should be careful while using the information provided. Have a fabulous day ahead. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.